Oh wait, yeah. She is. Let me tell you, New Mexico is burning up right now. Like, if I look like a sweaty hot mess, it's because of all of this. Like, it is hot. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already been here, my name is Andy. Thank you guys for stopping by. Today I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys about a question that I've been getting a lot lately. It's about the 7 chakras. People have been asking me what the chakras are, how you can tell if they're balanced or imbalanced, and what you can do to balance them out if you find an imbalance in your chakras. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about this video because I feel like it's very beneficial to kind of know what the chakras are. That way you can kind of tell in your own being like what you think is unbalanced and what you think you need to work on. Personally, it's helped me throughout my journey. I'm a yoga teacher, so I incorporate them a lot in my yoga classes, and I'm also an energy healer, so I work with the chakras hands-on. So I'm very, very excited to let you guys know what that means and what it means for you. So kind of just to give you guys an introduction as to what the chakras are, obviously we are these physical vessels, these flesh, these bones, that's what we are, that's what we see, that's our genetic makeup that we see every day. However, we are also energy bodies. Around our bodies, there is an electromagnetic field that surrounds all of our bodies, plants, animals, people. It surrounds our bodies. That's what people call the aura. It's kind of like a rainbow-like energetic field that kind of surrounds the body. Some people who are extremely clairvoyant that can see visually can actually see the aura around a physical body and therefore able to tell which chakras are balanced and imbalanced because they're able to see that etheric layer of energy. The chakras are basically a fundamental and essential way of understanding holistic healing. There are different types of crystals that you can use to heal chakras. There are different types of essential oils you can use. You can even use food to help work on certain chakras. And this is just a way to see what your body is doing on an energetic level. If there's something physically manifesting like illness or disease, sickness, things like that, this can actually be found first in your energetic body, in your etheric layer, or in your aura. And that's why it's kind of really important to know what the chakras are and if you have balances or imbalances in your chakras, because this can show you your overall health, mentally, spiritually, physically. So someone who is able to see your aura is actually able to see what chakras are blocked, which chakras are having a little bit less energy flowing through them, and which ones are super active or overactive. A person who is an energetic healer or a holistic healer can usually work with these energies so that the person doesn't have to take medication or prescription drugs and actually gets to the root of the problem, which is our thoughts. And people are always like, how can people see these energetic fields? And some people are just more sensitive to the bioenergies that surround the body. Some people, it comes naturally. They're able to see auras from the time that they're younger all the way up until they're older. And some people, it's a spiritual practice. You have to actually open yourself up to being able to see these energies and not only be able to see them, but clear out your own energetic space. That way nothing is blocking you from being able to see those types of energies. There are hundreds of chakras all around the body. However, today I'm just going to focus on the 7 main chakras that are most commonly known and that people work with the most. Starting at the base of your spine, you have your root chakra. It's associated by the color red, and what it represents is grounding, your feeling of safety, your feeling of security. If you have trouble feeling secure, if you have trouble feeling safe, or you have trouble feeling grounded in your own being, in this own physical flesh, that could lead to an imbalance, or it could mean that you have an imbalance in your root chakra. I know personally I had an imbalance in my root chakra when I first started working with energy healers. It was really hard for me to feel safe. I've had a lot of situations where I've just kind of moved around since I was a young kid, so feeling safe and feeling secure in my home or in my presence was really hard for me. So it's something that I've actually had to work with and work at to kind of clear all of that energy out and get all of the energy moving so that I can feel better and I can feel secure and I can feel safe. There's a few essential oils that you can work with to help you get yourself grounded. A lot of people like cedar. I personally work with patchouli. My dad actually used to burn patchouli a lot when I was a little kid, and energetically I didn't really know what was going on, but I definitely always felt a little bit more grounded in his presence, and I think it's because he always had patchouli or some type of oil just kind of burning like that. You can also use myrrh. A lot of people like to use stones associated with helping the root chakra. I actually just got a stone made for me by Stay Stoned Albuquerque. This is what they made me. Sorry, it's not really focusing. There we go. It is red jasper. Look at the detail in that. I mean, it is gorgeous. I kind of just let him know that I was working on my root chakra and working on like my bottom chakras, and he wrapped the stone for me, and I think it's perfect. I've already been using it a lot, and it's definitely helped me feel very grounded. Another way that you can tell if your root chakra is imbalanced is if you have like this sexual drive. Like, it's normal to have a sexual drive and to be sexual, but if you're overly sexual and overly lustful and it's almost like an obsession, that can be an imbalance in your root chakra. I also really like to use affirmations when I'm working on any of my chakras, and some that I found very helpful for the base chakra, the root chakra, are I am safe, I am grounded, I am secure. Just wait for that truck to pass loudly. Affirming what you are says a lot about who you are. If you feel like you're unsafe and you're constantly like, I'm unsafe, or I feel this, or I feel that, like, it's gonna affect your entire energetic system, because those are the thoughts and the words that you're feeding yourself. So when you take back your power and you say things like, I am safe, or I am secure, or I am balanced, whole, and complete, things like that, affirming things like that will really help to get the energy circulating around that area and clear out anything that that chakra doesn't need, anything that doesn't associate with feeling safe and doesn't associate with feeling secure. All of these will start to kind of move around. At the same time, I must also let you know that when working with the chakras, emotions will come up. There will be old trauma that comes up, there will be old things that you have to deal with, but it's because that energy is finally getting a chance to move around. It's finally getting a chance to work itself out of the body, which I think is really important. One of the ways that I really like to ground down and visualize myself grounding is literally just standing on my 2 feet, arms by my sides, closing my eyes, and kind of like meditating and visualizing like that, and visualizing myself as a tree, visualizing roots going from the bottom of my feet all the way into the earth, and allowing myself to feel that grounding and to feel safe standing in my own body, and just paying attention to my breath as it flows in and out as I'm doing that really helps me to get the grounding that I need. The next chakra is located about 2 inches below your belly button. It's called your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is associated by the color orange. This chakra rules our creativity, our joy, our enthusiasm, how you feel about life, if you're enthusiastic. It also rules our reproductive system. So if it's hard for somebody to reproduce, this actually could be a sacral chakra imbalance, which not a lot of people know about, but I was actually interested to find in my research that if you have problems reproducing, this controls those organs. And the way that you can tell that this chakra is imbalanced is if your relationships are bad, whether it be with yourself, whether it be with other people, if it's bad or if it's violent, or if you have some sort of addiction. These are all sacral chakra imbalances. Feeling a sense of wholeness in the sacral chakra also depicts your ability to give and to receive love. If it's hard for you to accept somebody's love, or it's hard for you to give love to others, this could be an imbalance in the sacral chakra, and it could just mean that maybe you didn't know how to give love. Maybe you were never taught how to give love, you were never taught how to receive love, maybe you've just never received love properly. That could have led to the imbalance in the sacral chakra. And just being aware of that is something that can really start to help you. The minute that you're aware of an imbalance is when you can start to work with it, and you can start to kind of get the energy moving through yourself. One way a lot of people like to really balance out the lower chakras, like the lower 3 chakras, is dance. A lot of people are actually getting into belly dancing and into Shakti yoga. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Shakti yoga, but it's basically a mixture of belly dancing, power yoga, and Tai Chi. And it kind of just gets that energy moving around in the base of your chakras. So the top 3 the bottom 3 chakras, it kind of helps to get all of that grounded and all of that rooted. As you're moving your body, you're also getting that energy moving. This is where a lot of sexual trauma and a lot of just trauma in general is held. I know that when I started working on my sacral chakra, I had to address some of my own abuse and trauma and issues that I had went through in my life, and it brought a lot of that stuff up. And at first it was really hard for me to deal with, because sometimes you don't want to have to deal with those things. Sometimes you just think that you put them away and that they're gone for good, but they're still stored energetically, and they still create imbalances within you if you haven't dealt with them and you haven't allowed that energy to move around. So the minute that you start to heal things within yourself, it creates a space that allows you to forgive other people, and it allows you to see that other people's hurt isn't your hurt. One thing that I've had to learn is that hurt people, and I know that I've been that person that has been hurt, and I've also been that person that's hurt other people. So putting yourself in both of those perspectives really gets you an idea of how to start working with that within your own self. One thing that really helps me with balancing out my sacral chakra was taking an oil bath. I took a bath with sandalwood and I put a little bit of ylang ylang in there. You can also use jasmine. And what you do is you basically just draw a bath. Make sure that it's warm. The warmer the better, because it gives you a chance to really calm down and absorb all of those oils. And just make that your intention. Before putting the drops in the bath, just set an intention for that to help heal and to help get some of that energy in your sacral chakra moving. Energy follows intention, so as long as you intend for it to assess in your healing, that's exactly what it's gonna do. One of the really good stones that I've heard, I've never really worked with it, but that I've heard are really good for your sacral chakra is fire opal. It's kind of like an orangey color. Let me see if I have. Okay, yes, fire opal. This is what it looks like. Kind of just like more of like a fiery orange color. That really helps. That helps to activate it, that helps to kind of get all of that energy moving around there. And what I would do is I would just lay down and put it 2 inches below your belly button. Have it in that place in your sacral chakra. That way you can really start to feel, after a while, energetically, you can start to feel this area kind of start to activate and get a little bit more clear and deal with the emotions that come up. But unfortunately, one of the myths that's kind of going around is that you can just get a color of a stone that's associated with a chakra and put them on your chakras and all of a sudden you're going to be healed. That's definitely a new age myth that honestly isn't true. You have to sit there and you really have to work with it, and you have to deal with the emotions that come up and really accept your own healing. If you don't accept it, then it's not something that's really going to get done. So it's more beneficial for you to actually have an intent with these things and to work with them on an energetic level. Next, we're gonna move 2 inches above the belly button. This is where our solar plexus is found, our solar plexus chakra. This is associated with the color yellow, and this rules our expansiveness, our power. This is where our power comes from. This is where you can grow, whether it be spiritually, mentally, physically. This is where that power and that drive stem from. So if you feel like you're lacking power, if you feel like you can't grow, whether it be, like I said, spiritually or just within yourself, it could mean an imbalance. Some of the signs of that imbalance are loss of power and fear and anxiety, introversion. If you feel the need to not be around people, not, you know, I get it, like some people are introverted, I'm introverted, I'm like an introvert extrovert. I really like to be around people, but then I really like my alone time. But if you're finding that you don't like to be around anybody at all, and you have a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety has come up, even when you think about going out and being in public places, this could be an imbalance in your solar plexus chakra. One thing that I really liked working with my solar plexus chakra was doing a meditation. One of my friends had actually taught me a meditation, and it was just about calling back pieces of yourself. I had lost a lot of pieces of myself to past relationships and to past situations that I had put myself in. So really meditating on that and calling those pieces back to myself really helped my solar plexus chakra, and it really helped me to gain my power back. This is where your self-esteem stems from, and I was in a really bad relationship about 5 years ago, and that really lowered my self-esteem. If I would have gotten energy healings back then, I would have really loved to hear what they would have said, because my self-esteem was so low. So being able to really work on that the last few years has been really beneficial to myself and beneficial to my healing. But I definitely was still losing my power to other things that weren't necessarily just self-esteem issues. I personally feel like I have a pretty good self-esteem now, but I definitely knew where I was losing that power and where I was allowing others to kind of take my power and associating myself with others instead of associating myself with who I am. One thing that really aids anxiety is alcohol. I was borderline an alcoholic a couple of years ago, and I feel like that's where a lot of my anxiety stemmed from. It's where a lot of my stress stemmed from. And a way that you can really deal with that stress is by, one, not drinking. It lowers your energy and it lowers your vibration, and that alone loses your power. Alcohol allows you to lose your power because not only does it allow you to lose your motor functions and your speech, but it also literally takes that power and gives it somewhere else. It's giving it places you don't even know. Like, you don't even know where your power is going when you're drinking a lot. And I've noticed that a lot of people that come to me with anxiety and a lot of people that come to me with stress are actually pretty heavy drinkers, or at least drink on an occasion, which I'm not saying that that's bad, and I'm definitely not trying to judge anybody. And if you drink, that is your choice, and I totally 100% accept it, and I accept you. But at the same time, for me personally and for my personal journey through healing, I had to give up drinking, and I had to give up that kind of like crutch. It was my self-esteem crutch. I'd always be like, oh yeah, I'm so outgoing when I drink, and I'm a little bit more myself when I drink, but it's like, who was I? Like, just because I could talk a little bit more didn't necessarily mean that I was myself. It didn't necessarily mean that I knew who I was. It just meant that alcohol allowed me to slip out my words a little bit faster, and I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. Another way that you can do that and relieve some of that stress is by just going and treating yourself to a good massage or a good energy healing, or something that allows you to feel good about yourself and to feel better, and anything that allows you to feed your self-esteem, do it. That'll definitely help your solar plexus chakra, and that'll help you get your power back. If you feel like you're ugly, or if you feel like you don't really have a good self-esteem, maybe it's time to just kind of take yourself back and notice what good qualities that you do have about yourself, and that'll definitely help you with that chakra. So next we're gonna move on up the body, and we're gonna go into the heart space. This is where your heart chakra is associated. It's kind of just like right here in the center of your chest. I kind of like to visual it in my heart area. This color is associated with green. I personally, whenever I'm working on my heart chakra, I like to visualize myself and my auric field being surrounded by the color green. And I literally like to just visualize any type of green that you like, whether it be like lime green or like, I don't know, grass green, whatever you visualize. Just visualize that and visualize it surrounding your body and flowing in and out of your heart. A lot of us have a lot of tears in our heart because of relationships or just friendships, maybe just relationships with our parents, things like that, the nurturing that we didn't get when we were children. These can all lead to energetic tears that are associated with your heart chakra, and it is also another place where we can give and receive love. This area is our circulation. This is where blood literally comes from and circulates around your entire body. So if you have circulation issues with your blood, this can be an imbalance in your heart chakra. This could be something that's holding heavy onto your heart that you're not able to let go of, which can be an imbalance. This is where our devotion and our passion for life, our passion for love, our devotion to ourselves, our devotion to other people, this is where that comes from. Being able to give and receive love unconditionally. If you're not able to do that, that could really mean an imbalance here. If you were rejected as a child by your parents, or you were rejected by other people, you can still be holding a lot of that energetically in your heart. So if it's hard for you to love others, or if it's hard for you to love yourself, that could be one of the things that that's stemming from. And it's really just up to you at that point. With the heart chakra, it's really up to you to be able to sit with and decide, what made me feel this way, and why is it hard for me to give love? Why is it hard for me to be passionate about something and devote myself to something or to someone? What have I seen in my life that's allowed me to close up and to not feel open? I notice a lot of people with heart chakra imbalances are kind of slouched. I used to walk around slouched all the time, that's why I talk about this, but kind of just walking around closed, like you literally look closed off to the world. But opening up the shoulders and opening up the chest and having a better posture really allows you to open up that space. And I get it, like it's hard to be open when you're out in public, and it's hard to be open when you're meeting new people and having new experiences. It's a scary thing, but closing yourself up to that and closing yourself off to what could be good and what could be beneficial for you is where that imbalance can also stem from. And so ways that you can heal the heart chakra, if you're into yoga or if you're into just stretching in general, anything that opens up the chest, gets those shoulder blades back, and kind of keeps the body high, that'll really keep an opening throughout the chest and expansiveness throughout the heart area. Me personally, whenever I do energy healings on myself, I just like to visualize tying up any loose ends and tying up tears that are in my heart and kind of working my way through them. If you just kind of visualize that happening, visualization is definitely key when it comes to your own healing. If you want to do your own energy work and you feel more comfortable working with your own chakras, being able to place your hands on your chest and really just feel your heart and feel your heart space and question what's going on in there and see what type of hurt is still in there, it allows that emotion and allows that energy to surface so that you can deal with it, move on, and let it go. One of the tools that I really associate with letting any type of energy go is the breath. Inhaling and creating that space so that you can exhale and let everything that you no longer need in that space go. If you want to set an intention with your clothes, do that. I'm wearing the color green today so that my heart stays open. Affirm that. Intend that to be true, and that's what'll happen. That's the type of energy that'll flow throughout your day. If you're wearing red, maybe you just need some grounding that day. Throw a red shirt on. You know, really set an intention with everything that you do so that with everything you're getting the healing that you need. We are designed to heal ourselves. I truly, truly, truly believe that. not only do I believe that, but I've also proved that to myself. I'm in the process of healing myself. It's a constant and daily thing that I'm having to work on, but the sooner the better. The sooner that you start getting all of that energy circulating around and starting to get all of those imbalances and balancing them out within yourself is when you'll really start to feel that wholeness, that completeness, that love, that self-esteem, everything that you need. Me personally, I'm a skeptic. I didn't believe in chakras, I didn't believe in auras, I didn't believe in any of that stuff until I kind of started my own spiritual journey, and I was like looking for different ways to heal, but I didn't want to take any prescription pills, and I wanted to go to holistic healers, and that's the first thing that they worked on. That's the first thing that they work with, are your chakras, is your energetic system. So when you start to think of yourself as an energetic body, this allows you to then turn around and work with the energy for yourself. And the minute that I started doing that, I felt the internal changes, and I am living proof that it can work for you if you decide that you want it to. Like I said, if this is all BS to you, throw it out the window. You know, I'm not here to tell you what's best and what's not best for you. I'm just letting you know what's helped me on my journey so that maybe this can open up doors for you. Moving on up the body. Now we're gonna focus on our throat area, the throat chakra. This associates with the color turquoise. The throat chakra is really, really important because this is where we speak. This is where we speak our love. This is where we speak our truths. This is also where we can use our voice to slander and to hurt other people. Sometimes not being true to yourself or using your words as weapons to other people, this can create an imbalance in your throat chakra. A lot of respiratory issues and a lot of throat issues are associated with this chakra. Your thyroid is one of the endocrine glands that it controls. So if you have thyroid issues or if you've had thyroid cancer, this is associated to an imbalance in your throat chakra. This is where our self-expression, our communication, and our will stem from. I know for a lot of years I had a really hard time with my throat. I used to get strep throat at least 4 to 5 times a year. I mean, I was getting it so many times that I don't even know why the doctors didn't take out my tonsils, because I was literally getting strep throat 4 to 5 times almost a year. And I really think it was because at that time I wasn't being truthful. Not only was I not being truthful with the people around me, but I wasn't being truthful with myself. And it definitely manifested, and even manifested even further when I got mono, and I had mono for like 8 weeks, and I literally slept for like 2 months. I mean, it was ridiculous. And now looking back, I know that that was an imbalance in my throat chakra. But when you start to balance it out and you start to speak your truths and you start to actually speak what's on your mind, you kind of feel a sense of actually being in your body, and you feel like you can express the things that are going through your mind, knowing that not everybody may agree with what you have to say, but being able to say what's on your mind and feeling that power come from within and feeling that opening in the throat and being able to express how you feel and really express yourself. I mean, this is where your self-expression comes from. And if it's hard for you to do that, and if you feel belittled when you speak about yourself or when you speak to others about things that are actually on your mind, and you feel belittled, this can create an imbalance in your throat chakra, because then you don't want to say anything and you kind of just want to go by everybody else's truths. But it's very, very, very important that you go through your own truths and that you speak what's actually on your mind, and that you don't allow others' projections to be pressed upon you, because this can create an imbalance for you. It doesn't matter if the other person has an imbalance in their chakra. If they're projecting it at you, this could be something that you pick up without even really trying to. It took me a really long time to be able to express what was actually on my mind. I was always afraid of judgment. I was always afraid of what other people were going to have to say about what I had to say, or whether or not they agreed with what I had to say, and hurting other people's feelings with my own truths. And that's where I got that imbalance. And I think that that's what really made me sick for a good 6 months, was not being truthful with anybody around me and not being truthful with myself. You know, I don't feel the need to argue with anybody anymore. I don't feel the need to prove my point is right, because what's true for myself isn't going to be true for other people. Just like what's true for other people isn't what's always going to be true for you. And so knowing that and standing true to my truths and actually speaking what's on my mind, that's what gave me my power back. That's what allowed this area to clear. Moving in between the eyebrows, or kind of right up in this area, this is our third eye chakra. This is where our imagination comes from, our intuition comes from, and our sense of clarity. If you feel like it's really hard for you to have a clear mind and a clear way of thinking, this could mean an imbalance in that area. If you have trouble kind of finding your own inner guidance and trusting yourself and trusting your own guidance, that can mean an imbalance. I know for a really long time it was hard for me to trust my own gut feeling. I would kind of know when a situation wasn't that great for me, and sometimes I would still put myself in those situations. That's not trusting the intuition that you've been given. That's not trusting your inner guidance. This is where when you start to meditate after a while, you can start to see projections and you can start to see things in your mind's eye or in your third eye. I've been meditating for about 2 years now, so it's kind of gotten pretty strong, and it's easy for me to kind of go inward and to listen to that inner guidance and to really trust my intuition. It's definitely something that I still have to work on. Sometimes I literally blatantly ignore my intuition for whatever reason. The more that you work with your third eye chakra, the more almost intuitive you get. I can literally read somebody entirely by just looking at them. Like, I can tell when somebody's genuinely feeling happy or if they're feeling anxious. I can pick up on a lot more of these energies because I've focused more inward on myself, and I'm more aware and hypersensitive to my own energy. So it's allowed me to be a lot more hypersensitive to other people's energy, which I feel like is clearing out the third eye chakra. Like, we are energetic beings and we should be able to feel other people's emotions, whether they're lying, whether they're telling the truth, whether they're feeling a certain way and they're kind of not really telling you. We should be able to pick up on those things as human beings, as mammals, and having those natural instincts. So you can kind of tell when that's blocked, when you can't really do that. If you can't really tune into a room and you can't really tune into somebody's emotions, that can mean an imbalance in your third eye chakra. And I've also found that the more that I've opened up my intuition and my imagination, the easier it is for me to see subtle energies. Like, I can stare at a tree, and I've worked on this, so that's why I can finally do it. But I can stare at a tree and I can see the energy coming off of it. I don't really know how to explain it other than, like, you know when you're looking at the road and you're looking off into the distance and you can see like a heat wave above the road. It almost looks like there's water on the road, and then you get closer and there's like nothing. That's essentially what I'm seeing. And I can now kind of start to see it around people, which is why I think soon I'm going to be able to see auras and be all woke. But until then, I can kind of just see the subtle energy layer around the body. So if you're trying to focus on seeing auras, if you're trying to focus on seeing subtle energy, I would start with a tree, because a tree is not going to get weirded out if you just sit there and stare at it for a few hours and try and see the energy in between the trees. Sounds a little crazy. Work on it. You'll see it. You'll see what I mean, because I didn't really believe in all that until I like started working with it. So this is eucalyptus. It kind of has some green, some pink, but I heard that it was really good for your third eye chakra, so I bought it. And the first time that I meditated with it, I was laying down and I literally just had it on top of my third eye, and I swear to God, you guys, I could literally feel the center of my intuition, or like the center of my forehead. I could literally feel it pulsating with the crystal. Like, it was legitimately vibing with the stone. And at first I was kind of like tripping out, like, what the hell? But I mean, it just proved to me that this stuff really does work, that it actually does do something to you. So don't take my word for it. Try it yourself. Meditate with it on your third eye. See what it does for you. For those of you that do yoga, downward dog is a really good way to balance out your third eye chakra. What I do is I visualize energy coming up from the earth through the soles of my feet, all the way up the back of my legs, through my body, down my spine, and allowing me to kind of ground down all of that energy that comes from my third eye through my hands. And that's a really good pose if you're into yoga. That helps you with that. Or if you're not even into yoga, look up what downward dog is. Get into that position. Just kind of set that intention with your breath. Last but not least, we've got the crown. This is literally at the top of our head. It is called your crown chakra. This is where your crown sits if you're a princess like me. This is associated with the color violet. This is all about your inner wisdom. This is about your beingness, your essence of being, who you are as a person in this physical world. If you're somebody who's super into religion and you hear the words of God, this is where it's flowing from. If you're just kind of open to energies of the universe, this is where universal energy and Christ consciousness flows through you. This is where all of that divine knowledge, kind of like your epiphanies, your spiritual awakenings, this is kind of where this is all accessed. Personally, what I like to do when I'm working with this chakra is I like to sit down and sit crisscross, and I visualize at the base of my spine those roots that we talked about coming from the base of my spine, going down into the earth and rooting me down. That way when I'm working with this chakra, I'm not all the way up here, I'm grounded and I'm centered. And then what I do is I take my breath and I visualize it going all the way down into my roots. And as I inhale, I visualize it coming up through my entire body, through my whole system, all 7 chakras. I visualize it going up and through into the universe, like literally balancing myself on the earth and still having that awareness from Christ consciousness, or from the divine, from God, whatever you want to call it, that's where all of those messages can come down and flow through me. So usually when I meditate, I like to open myself up to that energy so that I can let all of that flow through me, feel all of that love, feel all of that acceptance. And meditation is actually the physical act that you can do to help balance out this chakra. Obviously, there's not really a lot that you can do up above your head, so being able to meditate and kind of bring all of that energy down and through you is going to be how you can really clear this chakra out and keep this chakra open. And because it's associated with the color lavender, that's kind of the flower or the essential oil that I like to keep around. Lavender has to be my absolute favorite. It brings clarity to my mind, it brings stillness, it brings a sense of calm into my being. And sometimes if I feel like I'm not open, or if I'm just kind of everywhere in my own head, I literally just kind of do this around my crown chakra. And here I just visualize any thoughts that I don't need in my mind or anything that's clogging my mind. I just visualize it all going away, and I start to push the actual messages that I need to hear through myself, and I actually work with those energies. If you want to activate this chakra, if you feel like it's really hard for you to get messages from the divine or get messages from God, or just feel connected to a source, a really good stone that you can use to activate this chakra is going to be blue sapphire. That's actually my birthstone. I was born in September. We don't really have to get into that. So if you feel like it's unbalanced, or if you feel like it's inactive and you feel like it's really hard for you to open yourself up to those types of energies, get blue sapphire. That's really going to help keep it activated and keep it powerful. But if you just feel like you need some balancing in this chakra, like you feel like you're kind of in the middle of both and you just kind of want to get a balance throughout, I would use quartz crystal or amethyst. Amethyst is really good protection stone, so if you just want to keep your aura protected, that's going to be the stone that you use for that, just because this is the top of your aura. This is the top of your energetic body and where everything kind of flows around. So using amethyst as a protection is really good for that, or even just to balance out this chakra. And again, clear quartz, really good for just balancing it. Not really activating it, but balancing it out. Keeping that energy balanced, flowing, and open and active. For anybody that does yoga, a really good way to balance out this energy is headstand. Literally getting on top of your head, putting your feet all the way up to the sky, and balancing out that top chakra. Or you can even do shoulder stand if that feels a little bit better for you. Whatever's more comfortable for you. Both of those yoga poses are really good for balancing out and clearing out the crown chakra. That is all 7 chakras. One more thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was food. I didn't talk about food that can help you balance out your chakras. Obviously, all of the colors are associated with the color of a rainbow, so eating more fruits and vegetables, things that are colorful, that's really going to help you to balance it out. Whenever I'm working on my root chakra especially, I like to eat foods that are associated with red. Same thing for any of the other color of chakras. If you feel like you have an imbalance and you kind of want to work on that chakra, then eat colors that are associated with that. For your root chakra, you can do apples, beets, nectarines. If you want to do your sacral chakra, oranges, yellow chakra, bananas, squash. For your heart chakra, you can do green apples, kale, spinach. There's a ton of green vegetables that you can use. Just anything that's associated with the color of the chakra and setting that intention. It's so important when you're working and trying to heal your own chakras that you set that intention of healing. That way all of that healing can take place. One thing I read in a book too was this girl who had gotten cups, like plastic cups that were associated with the colors of the chakras, and she filled them with water and she put them out in sunlight and charged them with the sunlight or charged them with the moonlight, energetically getting that energy from the sun or the moon, associating it with that color, and then drinking the water the next day or after a few hours, and setting that intention of, okay, I'm gonna heal my chakra with this water that's associated with this color. Try it out for yourself, see if it helps you. Now you kind of know how to tell if there's a balance or an imbalance in your chakras. So let me know if that's something that helped you guys. If you guys have any other questions about the chakras, please get interactive with me. I'm interactive on all social media, so find me there. I actually just changed all of my social media names, so I'm gonna link that down below in the description box. That way you guys can kind of keep up with me, keep up with when I'm posting new videos, or on my Twitter, I'm also really interactive, especially about chakras and about healing. That's kind of my place where I give a lot of advice and I send a lot of light and I send a lot of love to people who need healing. So get interactive with me. Let's create a really cool space where we can all heal together. I'm really glad that I could make this video for you guys. I feel like learning about the chakras and learning about my own personal balances and imbalances really helped me through my spiritual journey, and it really helped me through my healing journey, and I think that it could really help you guys as well. Our generation is definitely looking for some healing right now, and I can feel it and I can see it, and meeting new people who are interested in the chakras really makes me happy, and it makes me happy that I'm able to share the knowledge that I've learned with you guys, because I've put myself through this test. Like I said, I was super skeptical before, and so being able to really test myself over the last few years and to be able to sit here and tell you guys what worked and what didn't work for me is, I feel like, super beneficial for not only me but for you guys as well. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to subscribe and kind of get to know me a little bit more, check out the rest of my videos. So thank you guys again for watching it. I really do appreciate it, and until next time.